Boom, we are pre-recorded again today, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful morning on Tuesday, March 26th. And as every day, I want to start by thanking you for sharing your most valuable asset with us. That's your time, your attention, your patience, and all the other great skill sets that you have. All the Bear family members, what a week it has been. The ride in the crypto space is extravagant, to say the least. Now, seeing this much price movement come in up and down in every part of this sector is wildly fascinating. And the good news that's coming into this space, I think near the end of this year, is going to be monumentous for the price movement as a whole. We saw Bitcoin's price drop down yesterday, and today and yesterday we've seen some ridiculously high moves, somewhere up in between the 200 to 300% for some tokens I've never heard about. So let's dive into that and share a little bit of our thoughts on why we think some of this nonsense happens. Okay, so here we are on the Bitcoin 1 hour chart right now. We had said that we were looking for a small breakdown yesterday, and we did. We broke down from 4,040 to around 3,700 or 3,970. Just a small little break in Bitcoin's price movement. It didn't affect much. Like if you go to CoinGecko right now, I've been watching the overall market cap for the space in the last little while, and it's actually stayed relatively consistent. Again, consistency in this space is one of the things I am excited about, but also one of the things I am slightly scared about. Well, not scared, but let's say it makes me a little more hesitant. A lot of people are attracted to the volatility in this space, so if you start to remove that volatility, it's likely that the bets go down, at least for now. I still don't think we've exited a bear market, and with that in mind, because I don't think we have exited the bear market, I think that there's a lot more room for growth. Now, what's really difficult to, CoinGecko isn't loading, right? Or I guess it's probably not them. It's obviously my internet. There we go. It's not like they're not loading. My internet's not loading. Okay, let's look back from February here. Maybe we'll give a 60-day outlook. Might be a little more effective if it loads here. Okay, here we go. See, we've stayed relatively stable. In the beginning of January, we were at 110 billion. Now, you've been slowly climbing up to around the $140 billion mark since the beginning of March here. We start right around my birthday here, March 11th, around 135 billion. We've actually been in a steady increase in the global market cap for quite some time. Now, around January 4th, we were actually at that same price, so we haven't broken out of the market cap potential in the last 90 days. And if you look back pretty much the day that we dropped in November of 2018, we were down around 140 billion. Now, when we were at 6,000, we had another 50 to 60 billion dollars in the global market cap. Now, what I'm starting to think is, and what I'm starting to feel, is that a good chunk of this money is going into the development process. We saw the Square app, the Cash app by Jack Dorsey and the Twitter team come out, and they started offering to pay people in Bitcoin. Now, one of the reasons why I believe this is the case is because we need this to act as a currency at a large scale and a money. Both are necessary. And with the large amount of volatility in the space, it's not very likely that people are using this as money quite yet, even though that's its most valuable format. Or actually, let me rephrase that. It's more likely that they're using it as money and not as cash, because these are more like a long-term asset, something like gold, which has been money for thousands of years. It has a bit more volatility in comparison with something like the US dollar, at least in the minds of the people. Now, again, we see a lot of volume building up into our current space of March. So I'm really excited about the future. This year particularly, I think near the end of this year, probably October, November, December, is where we're really going to have the confirmation that we're entering back into a bull market. Now, but in the meantime, this is the kind of stuff that just blows my mind. First off, I was looking at ADDX the other day. You're like, oh, look, nice consolidation here. Not a whole lot of price. We've got a little bit of a rising price index. And all of a sudden, bam, today alone, 40%. And it actually was up even higher, around 50 to 60% at one point. And then EVX and OAX, I don't even know where these tokens come from. Someone had mentioned EVX in the Bear Den about 2 days ago when we were down here. And it almost tripled since then. I have no idea what EverX even is, let alone why its price movement would be so ridiculous. So what we're going to start doing, and what we've been doing, is building the Arcane Bear Private Den Telegram, the newsletter, as well as the educational platform that's going to be on the website. The reason we're doing this is because a lot of the information that gets captured in the Bear Den, in the open Telegram community, ends up kind of getting lost in the fact that we have over 2,500 members, 200 or 300 people always online typing. You have to go back through 400 or 500 messages per day just to see what happened throughout the day. It's very difficult to do that. So we're trying to aggregate as much of that content because you guys have always been bringing extremely valuable ideas to the table, and we just don't have an easy, smooth way to capture that yet and re-deliver it back to the Arcane Bear community. And that's really what the Private Den is about, is trying to capture and then re-deliver all of the great information that the Bear community is building, because there's so much of it. There's so much to try to pay attention to here. Now I'm going to take a quick look at again, Bitcoin. I'm short-term bearish here. I do suspect we're going to break this $3,000 triangle here, especially since we haven't jumped up. I mean, maybe we'll test the $4,019 area here for the 100-day exponential moving average on the 1 hour, but it's looking like it's less and less likely that we're going to break out past that $4,200 area. But again, this is why we watch things daily, is because it's important to keep an open mind for anything being possible. So the next we're going to look at here is Ethereum. Again, Ethereum's been following almost lockstep with Bitcoin's price movement. Yesterday, when Bitcoin's price broke down, Ethereum also did the same. Litecoin actually stayed relatively strong, and I was speaking about that yesterday, that I was actually quite impressed with Litecoin building that really nice, solid $60 VPR support. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, you could have made 100% off Litecoin. It's like, who gives a flying rat's ass? Raven did 600% in the last month or two. And this is just a game of being patient. This is the whole point of creating investment strategies, is if that one thing explodes and the thing that you're looking at doesn't, is that you have the patience and the investment to stick with what your original analysis had brought out. And that's why I was more keen on Raven and Flow, is because those both did 300% as in comparison with Ethereum and Litecoin only doing around 100. Now, the strategy, you have to follow it, because if you make gains and it's just a whimsical strategy, you're not really building a format for success, which means you can lose, because part of it is learning how to take losses and take profits, at least as a not as a trader, but as an active investor, someone that's learning to I guess build this skill set of probability analysis with the technical tools that we have. So again, down into Litecoin, as I was just saying, is actually building this really cool, nice VPR support, or the volume profile support around the $60 area. If I go to the daily chart here, it actually looks a little more noticeable, because you can see the rest of the token. And this is actually really nice, because this is what you want. You want to build a steady volume profile fill all the way up. See how thin the fill is, all the way up to 350. There's hardly anything there. The most of the support here is actually below $60, and then there's this massive gap between $11 and $19. This is what's always worried me, or not worried, but this is one of the reasons why I think Litecoin is going to go just a little lower one last time before we enter a full bull market. I think we're going to prop off this $50 area, come back down, test around the $10 to $20 area, and then finally start our re-entry into the bull market in 2019. So the reason we want to take a look at this every day, guys, isn't because there's always great trades to be made. It's because looking at it and using the skill set, trying to remove our emotions strictly by analyzing what we think is going on in the price movement and what comes next, gives us the possibility to learn a lot more. And that's really what this has been about for me the whole time, is investing in my own education and understanding. When I first started playing in the stock market back in 2014 and 15, I had no idea what anything was. I had no idea what a candle was, what a wick was, what an EMA or a VPR or MACD or RSI. All of this cool technical analysis is what we were trying to build with the Bear Den as well. So if you're new to the Bear family, give us those thumbs up. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. There are links for the private Bear Den Telegram channel, newsletter, Telegram, and educational platform as well. We're putting all of that online coming up into the beginning of April. The newsletter will be released on the mid to the end of April. We'll probably try to do every newsletter right to the mid to the end of the month, so we capture as much of the month's data for that month. So the April newsletter will be about what happened in April and also what we see for a potential projection into May, this type of thing, as well as we'll be building the educational, which is just, here's what the Fibonacci sequence comes from. It will be basically building a large resource of ideas similar to that of Investopedia that you guys can all go to that's more crypto relevant. Again, the price movements that we see in the Bitcoin and blockchain space are significantly different than that in the stock market space, because I do think we have a closer relationship to free market sentiment analysis, and that to me is very valuable. Anyways, we'll leave it at that. You can also join our free newsletter as well by going to www.arcanebear.com. Scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page and sign up for the free newsletter. We will be releasing probably once a month just general updates, kind of ideas about giveaways or discounts on merch or entry into the Bear Club, this kind of thing. So we're really excited to be building that resource because I know a lot of you guys have A, been asking for it, and B, I know when we put the community to collaborate with all the great admins and all the great traders that are already in the Bear family, it's going to provide so much value for everyone that it would be silly for me not to try to build it. So again, thank you guys for all the support. It means a great deal to me. I'm having a blast of a time. We're also just getting back into the swing of things, so that's very exciting. I'm off to the dentist today because I think I have a little cavity. Anyways, you gotta take care of your health, take care of your loved ones. Remember that if you see someone down, offer them a hand up, because those who bend down to help pick up others are generally those who help stand on the shoulders of giants to reach further than they ever have before. This is Teal with the Arcane Bear. I'm signing off for the rest of the day. We hope you have yourselves a fantastic time.